So this is my son, Amir Yusufu.
Hello.
What kind of deep voice do you have?
That's
Okay, so this is Amir Yusufu. So earlier today I did a video with Aliyah, your sister. He knows that anyway. I'm just so that you know your sister, and then we just talk about a bunch of different things. And I thought, okay, let's just do a similar one with you.
okay.
And just do let's just do something. And so today is the International Youth Day, and so as a youth from Nigeria, what do you think is the reason why youth your age are not making demands on government the way they should, and then they're busy on other things rather than on the real things that affect their lives? Just look at for someone like you that have been in the UK since you were, how old were you when you came? 14.
14.
Yeah, 14. You were taught 14. That was in 2013. You came in. So you were 14 when you came to UK. How do you see youth? How do you see their demands here in UK and then back home in Nigeria? And what do you think is the reason?
The reason I would say is the trust. I'm not going to lie. There's a trust of government. Like simple things like voting.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we went back home to do our voting, was so much more complicated. In the UK, they actually encourage you. There's sort of encouragement. I feel like the government has not let down, is a bad word to say, but has almost neglected the fact that the youth are the future of the country. So like in this way, they are actively encouraged, even campaigns, voting, like simple rights movement, like the Black Lives Matter. A lot of them were youth. All of them were youth, to be honest. But there was the encouragement, and I feel Nigerian youth, we just need that. The government just needs to like actively try. I know it's been like what this word I'm looking for, godfatherism. Like I bring my people in, but it's just like it needs a bit of active trying to encourage the youth. I think just encouragement simply.
Okay. So what do you think in terms of the place where the government isn't encouraging? What do you think the youth should do more for them to be able to put themselves out there and say, look, we are important. Take note of us. I mean, not just wait, because like now, what you're talking about is to just passively wait until you're encouraged. Now you're not encouraged. They don't want you to be encouraged. They want you out there. So what do you think you as a youth should do? What are the demands that you should make to be able to put yourself
I'll be
out there?
honest, I may not have much experience, but first of all, it's more of an inward thing. There needs to be pride in the nation. Unlike you have had strong pride in Nigeria, but my pride has always been wishy-washy, and mostly I think I can actually trace it back to when Chibok girls, the first news. I before that I had like
So okay, what so you're supposed to be looking at
Sorry.
right now. Have you forgotten you are the cameraman?
Don't talk. I'm trying to get into my mojo here.
Okay, yeah, I do understand. Sometimes we do this. So
I feel like there just needs to be pride in the nation.
okay. In the first place, let's rewind a little bit. Where were you when you first heard about the Chibok girls' abduction?
Actually, I was in science class. Remember, physics class. My favorite teacher, Mr. Jones. He looked at me because he knew I was Nigerian. He told, I think it was even almost in the middle of class, like a passing thing. He was like, "Look at you guys, you're messing up, and there are kids that have been taken away." I was like, "Kids from where?" And he was like, he looked at me and was like, "Son, do you know?" I said, "No." And then he said, "From Nigeria." I was like, "Oh, okay. Surely just 2 or 3 days. We just need our special forces. Is it our Nigerian SEAL till 6 just to go in, get the girls back?" And then I think I called you.
Yeah, that evening
And I
you
think-
called me. Normally, so what happened was he was in a boarding school and they allowed them call in the evenings. I think from 8 p.m.
Yeah.
They will call or we'll talk to them. So he called me that day. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Is this true?" Then he said, "Yeah." I don't know. I don't remember. I think I went into an angry rant, if I remember correctly. But I was like, surely then weeks turn into months, turn into, unfortunately, the sad truth, years now. But it's just been been let down. But besides the point, that's for me experiencing. I feel like the youth in Nigeria, us, we just need to be like, all right, nothing's gonna happen. We're just gonna have to take things into our own hands, to be honest. And yeah, and show first the pride, and then there's the active, just doing it ourselves kind of thing. Oh, look at me, sounding like mommy. I came into this, I was enjoying.
Okay. So this is the one that likes camera. You know, earlier on I was telling you about my daughter who didn't like being in front of the camera. She's like her dad. So this is the one that we are together. You know how it goes. And it's really sad. So I do hear you when you talk about the you bet. Okay, beyond that, let me just leave that and go to other things. For example, you hear a lot of violence against women, domestic violence, gender-based violence, and all of that. As someone, what do you think causes that? And then, given the fact that some people say, oh, so sometimes the women make them angry and all of that. So, first of all, I want you to explain your upbringing. You have a sister. How much did you beat her?
Oh, I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did. You beat that nonsense out of me, but it wasn't. I felt like it was the usual boys will be boys, which is a very dangerous term to use. I feel like.
But were you allowed to beat her, or did you beat?
It was just pure stupidity on my part.
How often did that happen?
Quite a while. Then it got to a stage. I remember it on a Friday. I looked at like it was over remote, DXTV. I was like, why am I doing this?
But then I remember growing up, one of the rules I had.
It was don't beat your sister.
Yeah. So at what time did you do all of this beating?
It was usually over TV or something dumb. It was a lot further back. But yeah, it's just the dangerous term of I will go back to boys will be boys, which is very, very dangerous to use. And also you had rules like everyone in the kitchen. I feel like that told me like there's no need to feel like boys are better than girls. Actually, my sister is a lot smarter than me. She does things and I have my own strength. So it's kind of like we're on equal playing field, but we're in different we have our different strengths, our weaknesses. So she's horrible in drawing, I'm better in drawing. I can't do maths. I spent 4 years. She passed me to the one that she do further maths. So it's kind of like, and also I feel like the violence against women is stupid. It's stupid. Like it's like women give birth to men. Like I adore my mother obviously, and there's like to hit a woman, it's like you're hitting someone, especially a black woman. You're hitting someone that has been through so much. It's like why? It's like there's no sense.
You know there was a time that Aliyah, because for in my own case I always knew I had a rule.
Yeah.
You can't beat your sister. You don't beat your sister. So it's actually a revolution to me now that okay, there were times that you did do that. But I remember one time Aliyah would be like, oh. Yes, come and hit me. If you hit me, you're going to be a sister beater.
Yes.
From sister beater
to wife beater.
To wife beater. So that's why I'm wondering, do you get the question? Was it physical as in beating, fight, beat, or what was it?
Or was it just tugs, like
tugs? Yeah, so why I'm trying to explain it, okay, we haven't talked about the fact that, okay, he's dyslexic. My son is dyslexic. I've always talked about that. And there's sometimes when you're talking about certain expressions and this, you have to put it. So I want to know, is it the beating as in back, or you guys were pushing each other, talking at something? I understand that. Or was it physical beating?
It did get physical.
Oh, okay.
It was scratches. It did get physical.
Oh, okay. So that's one. And for me, which is quite a revelation. They never allowed me see that part, because the rule I had in the house was the fact that no beating. You can't beat your sister, and that's a rule that I remember. There was one day we were like angry, we were like, "Mommy, can this thing be taken off me? This rule be taken off me?" And stuff like that. I'm like, no, you have to enjoy it, and so that's one of the.
I'm actually quite grateful for that rule, because I feel like without that rule, I would have grown up to be entitled. I see most of my friends, like when they talk about, I don't know if you know about back in Nigeria, there's something called tapping current.
Tapping current. Yeah. What was that?
It's basically sexually assaulting a girl and being like in the dance. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I was like, that's not right. I don't know, but I feel like that rule kind of, it was during Regents, mostly, unfortunately, Essence, that rule kind of set me straight, like what to do and what not to do, what to look out for. So it is a term that they use. It was in Nigeria mostly, called tapping current. Basically, just like assaulting a girl and be like, yes, I did it.
And they feel good about it.
So they'll be like, I mean, what did you do?
But the thing is that did you try to discourage them, or you just kept quiet and were just passive?
I was passive. I was implicit into it mostly because I was mostly yes, I was implicit to it.
So you didn't stop them. You just watched them.
Because
So let me bring that back to your. There was a day I know you called me while in London. You were going back to your house, and you said you had met a girl and her boyfriend who was trying to. Why don't you take that story from there and tell us about
Okay, yeah.
it?
From when I remember I was like, I can no longer just be implicit to it. I was coming back from Winter Wonderland. Our tradition we used to go to. I said, "Oh, I'm in London. Let me just see it once again." It was fun. That I was coming
I think the
back.
first time we went to Winter Wonderland was in the year two. Was it 2000? No, the year 2010.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it was fun. I liked it. So I went back, went on a couple of the rides. I was supposed to be with a friend there, but we got lost. So as I was coming back, I noticed, people drink. I understand that, obviously, Christmas. There was this one guy. He just like from all the way from the gate to the train station I was on, kept screaming at this girl. First, I thought it was like siblings. I was like, this is a bit weird still.
Mhm.
But I was like, then I realized he kept screaming, screaming, screaming. Then I was like, oh, this is real. And I noticed people around me weren't looking. And then I said, that was me like a couple years ago. And I can't do that anymore. So I came up to him. I was like, bro, what are you doing? And then I think it was almost close to a fight, I'll be honest. But I know when he told me that I should have asked about how she's doing, which I didn't. I feel like, I don't know, but I still had to stop him
Yeah.
to give her time to either get on the train before him. I think she did, if I remember correctly. She get on the train just to get away. But I felt like, sure, it was small, but I actively did something this time. I didn't just look away.
Like you did when you were much younger,
Yeah.
which is to look at. So let me just take this from here. I remember I was just sitting down and I got a call from him, and he was quite upset. And he was like, "Mommy, this is what happened. I don't know whether I did the right thing." And I said to him, "Yes, you did the right thing. But the only thing I said to him, I said, next time, don't focus on the aggressor. Focus on the victim. Ask her, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to help you move away? Just even whatever he's saying, just let her know how she can get away. You want me to call the police?" And for me, and let me just say it from the point of view of a parent, was that when my son called me and told me that from London, I was scared. Honestly, yeah, I was scared. Even though I never showed you, even though I never said to you, don't, I discourage you, because I want you to do it. For me, I'm really, really, really proud of that. The fact that you just don't wait and see women, somebody being molested, and you look the other way. But the thing for me was the fact that fear of London and knives. I mean, yeah, somebody could just bring out a knife, and then I know you don't like violence, you don't like all of that, you stay away from all of things like that. And if somebody brings out a knife, but then I just couldn't say to you, oh, don't stand for somebody, because that could be anybody. You can't just see injustice and look away. And you see, over time, people feel that there's this feeling amongst, especially men, this patriarchal arrogance, this patriarchal entitlement, where they feel that because they are men, they are superior to the other being, they are this, they are that. Why do you think that happens?
They haven't watched Plates. That's the only reason I can say they haven't watched
I hope. Did you hear what he said? He said they haven't washed plates. Because more in my own house, I don't care whether you're a man or you're a woman or but the same thing. I'm bringing up my children the same way. There's nothing like you feel because you are a man, you are entitled to something.
on the
more serious note.
I don't know. I just feel it back. I feel like I'm bringing it back to the boys who were boys.
So is it like has to do with upbringing?
Yes, the excuse that I feel like I'm also going to pass to my son as well is the dangerous boys with boys. I feel like that one term that's given almost like an excuse for every single crime, every single patriarchy reason, every single entitlement. Just boys with boys. Let them be, and that's it.
Okay.
If
I haven't looked at it.
Yeah. If you give consequences to the actions, like you need to stop.
I haven't looked at it actually that way where he talked about the fact that that statement, because it's a statement that I'm not even very used to. It was recently that I began to hear as an adult. So you having been here and everything, you get to hear that a lot. That very statement that boys will be boys have led to a lot of things that shouldn't be happening, and that's quite that's really quite sad. And every one of us, we need to take action. You can't just see something happening and you do nothing. When you do nothing, you I think, who was it? Is it Desmond Tutu that he said when you do nothing, when you stay neutral in the face of injustice, you've chosen the part of the oppressor. So by when you were much younger and you saw all of this, where they called tapping current, and you did nothing, you were just looking at them, you sort of like took the part of the aggressor. But here, when you came as a young adult, where you saw something and you intervened, you took the part of the victim, and I think that's quite nice. What other thing do you think that you need to talk about?
Um, I mean, that's it, anyways. It's just the fact that I want to get the pride I used to have back again. It's more of a personal thing. I want to have the pride for my nation. Like you always, your pride is over jealous of. Your pride has been undying. Mine has been. I want to get the pride back, and like I said, I feel like the youth of Nigeria, we just need to do it ourselves then. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening.
You just do need to do it yourselves. But before you go, one very other major issue, like your dyslexia. I see, sometimes people, especially in Nigeria, where people are ashamed of things. And one of the things that I hope I'm speaking, if it's not right, correct me, get that. Or before we even do that, I tell people, look, I bring up my children to be able to make demands on me. I always say to them, I've always told you guys, I'm not always right. Anything, don't just follow what I say. You have to be convinced. Is that what it has been for you, or maybe just what I'm thinking? And do you think that parents need to allow their children to own their voices, to make demands on the parents? Is that some of the reasons why people don't actually make demands?
I feel like you have always been different in the fact that you've always given me and Ali the freedom to do our thing, and also given us a clear, so you can tell us what to do. If we see something that's wrong, we can also make demands as well. So you've always done that. I feel like yes, and I don't know if you told you about this weird moment back in Aochi when I tried to shake someone's hand and they were like, "I'm your senior," and that because of you, that felt so foreign to me. I was like, "What are you talking about? You held me as a baby. How am I supposed to remember you?" I felt it's been like to an adult. Like you kind of like I felt like every time I go back to Aochi, there's still this reminder that how you brought us up is not how things are for, unfortunately, for a lot of people. It's like always bow your head down. The don't you know who I am? And this almost seniority complex, I'll afraid to say. But then, like that one moment, it felt so foreign to me that I was like, did I offend him or something? But it's just the fact that the freedom to give your kids and also trust, not only trust, but guide their sense of right and wrong.
Yeah, so just a bit of context to that is the fact that for me, bringing up my children, I don't feel that my children, I own them. I don't feel that they are my slaves. I've always respected my children right from when they were young, 1 year, 2 years, and I think everybody, even a child, deserve that respect and explanation, and looking at them as human beings, not just, oh, I brought you into the world, this world, and kind of thing. And so I've never been in a position where you have to kneel. They've never knelt down to greet me for what? We don't kneel down to greet. It's un-Islamic, and anyway, we don't kneel down to greet. I remember there was one time, I think it was Aliyah we were in Kano, and one of my aunts, and she asked my daughter to bring water for her. My daughter brought water for her and gave her, and she was like, "Oh, you can't kneel down." And I said to my aunt, "No, I didn't bring them up to kneel down for anyone. You guys brought us up that way. I'm gonna take that way. I didn't bring up my children that way." So that's part of the things that has always been this thing. But anyway, before we round up, I say because we'll soon be starting a program now. I just want to talk a bit about your dyslexia, and I see a lot, because a lot of people, sometimes when I talk about it on social media, I've seen people those of course who always abuse me, insult me, attack me, and they're like,
unnecessary. Like, why? I'm sorry. Let me continue. It's unnecessary.
And then I saw sometimes they were like, "Oh, you are using your son to get attention because you're looking for attention." Many people feel it's something to be ashamed of when you have certain things. And I know I always brought you up to go ahead. I see you want to talk.
Yeah, it's stupid because like the shame was come from me mostly, not knowing. I feel like before I was 14 when I got told, not knowing the difference between B and D for about 4 years, and simple maths that my mates used to get past, and like just not almost being dull, but like being close to being dull. Yes, that was the part where I was like, but then realizing that yes, I have my weaknesses and yes, I have my strengths. It's liberating. It's not like a thing to be. Sure, it may seem like a thing to be. It was something to be ashamed of, but it was liberating. It was like, yes, I can see things when no one else can see things. I can see spaces, and I have good spatial awareness. That is liberating. It doesn't. It's not, and it needs more attention. Yes, you're using it as, but it needs more attention. I feel like there's so many people in Nigeria who may be the next Picasso, maybe the next great poetry master, who may be the next literature master. Wale Soyinka, the man that basically wrote all the books, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yes. I don't know if it's dyslexic, but I feel like the next Einstein could be from Nigeria, sitting in an earlier school, but no one would know if they don't take the time to actually reach out to them. So, sure, it may seem like, but it needs more attention, in my opinion. Frankly.
Absolutely. And then and of course, what I said to it's who you are. You own yourself. I've seen a lot of friends, even parents, reach out to me and say, "How are you able to talk about your son's dyslexia?" There was one that even said to me, "Oh, don't you feel ashamed?" I'm like, "Ashamed of what? I love my son. Absolutely, he's an amazing human being."
Also,
yes.
I'm going to Cannes, so what's there to be ashamed of?
Oh yeah, you just let the cat out of the bag. So in his school, he's actually, what's the name of the university?
Regent University.
Regent University in London, and
Cannes.
so they did this. So what are you studying?
BA film production.
We have film production, TV, television, digital media production, and all of that. And then they did one. What was that?
A competition.
A pitch. Okay, a competition, and they won it. And they're supposed to have been in Cannes, in France. So hopefully next year they'll be going there, which is sad.
We even pitched to heavyweights, and they were like, they loved the idea.
Oh, you see?
What's there to be ashamed of?
Exactly. So that's the thing. And then of course at the end of, so what happened was that he wasn't diagnosed on time until he was around, was that 12? 2011 or
9.
You're in year 9?
Year 8 or year 9, if I remember.
12 or 13. That was when he was diagnosed with having dyslexia, and from there on he actually did therapy for a year, just to get all of that abuses that had happened and a whole lot of things. And I remember I apologized to you when you turned what?
You did, yeah. I thought it was necessarily 14 or...
No, when you turned 18.
18 years.
Oh, you are mixing up numbers. But for you felt it wasn't necessary. But for me, I felt it was necessary because there were certain things I was supposed to do for you. I was supposed to protect you. I didn't. I beat you a lot over things that wasn't in your power, and I allowed other people to beat you, all those lesson teachers, when it wasn't actually your fault. You were dyslexic, and that's the way God have created you, and you have amazing passion. You're always so nice. I just want to say I'm sorry, and I love you so much.
Love you too.
And so that's it. We are done. Love you. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Oh, I did 22 minutes.